Okay, this is the ASC Minx mixer, 3-channel mixer. It's a professional broadcast mixer, a very, very nice machine, a classic in fact. And this was very kindly given to me by Wendy at WBS TV in Manchester on Monday. A fantastic donation to the Bollington Movie project. Now, this is a piece of equipment that we might be using, that we all might be using occasionally on the project. So I thought today I'd give you some kind of an overview of how the thing works and how to configure it. It's fairly straightforward, although there are a few technicalities that need to be borne in mind. But before I go into that, I'll just give you a bit of an overview of the thing, because some people may be interested. It was built by Audio System Components Limited in Berkshire in about 1980. It was a very expensive machine in its day. It cost about £700 in the 80s. And it used to belong to Mine Time Productions, the company that did Treasure Hunt and lots of other things. So it may even have been used on some of those. Okay, so that's that. What I'm going to do first of all, and you're listening to audio which is being processed through this at the moment, I'm just going to show you the back panel and give you a sort of a walk around what's going on around the back. If I can do it without disconnecting anything. Okay, and get it into shot as well. Okay, it's reasonably straightforward, but you've got the main output here. This is the connection that would go to the camera. You've got a Q input there. That's for, say, fold back from the camera, or an input from another mixer, or even a communications input for the sound engineer, sound recordist. And then you've got your 3 channel inputs here. The channel inputs are switchable from microphone level to line level on these buttons up here. If you don't know what that means, don't worry, we'll explain it to you later, but it's nothing too complicated. You've got a battery charge switch at the bottom there, which we don't need to use because unfortunately the rather specialized rechargeable battery that this thing uses is no longer available, so we're going to have to try and get round that somehow. These terminal posts up here, we don't need to worry about these again either. These are for very high level inputs and outputs, almost telephone circuit level, so we won't be worrying about those. And you've got your 2 headphone jacks here, presentation and engineering circuits. We'll be on the engineering circuit. This switch here, this button here, is really, really important, and you need to be careful not to inadvertently press that when we are recording, because it changes the output level of the mixer quite significantly. Okay, at the moment I'm running it. I think it's putting 0 dBu out to the computer through here, which is a very, very high level. It's almost 1 volt of audio at peak. But when we have this connected up to James's camera, we're probably going to be outputting at microphone level, which is about -50 dBu. And it's very important that you don't inadvertently press that button when we're doing that, otherwise you'll send a massive, massive great signal to the camera, which could actually blow the camera up. And I don't think James would be too happy about that. Right, now on the front, down here, this is your headphone level control. I obviously don't have a pair of headphones connected into it at the moment, but it's a dual concentric control with a center for the engineer's headphones and the inner for presenters or presentation headphones. This switch at the top here, this is duplicated actually, but you've got one for the engineer output and one for the presentation output. That's selectable from either output or Q. And if you remember, the Q Um, input on the back is a monitor input, which could come back from a camera or from another monitor or from a communication circuit. Okay, so what else have we got that you need to know? The oscillator, line-up oscillator here, I'll go over that in a minute, but that's very important. These are your 3-channel input controls. They're dual concentric again, so you've got on the inside you've got the channel gain. I'm on channel 1 at the moment. You've got the channel gain, it's a bit crackly, which that actually sets the gain of the channel, or the sensitivity of the channel. At the moment I'm using a microphone which has a very low level output, so I need to have the gain on that channel wound right up to about 9 or nearly 9. The center control is the actual channel fader. Okay, that's your actual channel fader, right up, right down, right down, right down, right up, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so you use the channel fader to actually control the level that's going through the mixer, that's going out of the mixer as well, and to mix your 3 inputs there. At the top of each channel you've got these 2 buttons. PFL is pre-fade listen. I'm not going to press that now because it'll cause all hell to break loose, but that actually lets you listen to the signal on the channel ahead of the fader. Okay, this one on the left is really important. That's a low frequency roll-off filter, and I know as a matter of fact that in TV sound recording and film sound recording as well, a lot of sound engineers like to have this in place because it helps to get rid of all that nasty rumble that you sometimes get when recording indoors, and it also helps to get rid of microphone handling noise as well. It rolls off at about 150 Hertz. So we'll keep all of those in when we're using this. And so what else have we got there? Another very important thing, and I'll go into this in more detail in a minute when I get on to metering and lining up, but you've also got a limiter here which also needs to be in at all times, and that prevents the output level from being too high. Okay, if I go if I blow into that, you can see the red light coming on in the meter when it hits 6. That's actually very significant, so we want to have that in at all times. The meter on the front is what's called a PPM, or a peak program meter. They're very common in broadcasting situations. It might look like, to a layman, it might look like nothing special, just a load of white numbers on a black background. But those numbers are very significant to an audio engineer. They mean a lot and they're very important. For our purposes, 4 on that meter is going to be the nominal reference level, and 6 is the absolute maximum peak level. We don't want to go over 6 at all. Okay, so people that know about these things will know that 4 represents -8 dB and 6 represents 0 dB, the nominal peak operating level of the system. So, or a system. Okay, now lining up. This is where we need to be a bit careful. The oscillator, which is this switch here, this actually is the first thing you'll do when this mixer is connected to a camera. You want to line up so that basically all that means is that the metering on the camera is tracking with the metering on this, so that the meter on the camera is reading the same as this, basically. That's an oversimplification of it, but that's what it's all about. So when you switch the oscillator on, it produces a 1 kilohertz tone at -8 dB, which, if you remember, will correspond with 4 on this. So I'm going to do that now. It ramps a bit on this, so it's going to sound a bit funny when I first turn it on. Okay, that's on 4 now. So what you do is switch that on, and then go over to your camera and set your camera meter to the same reading. In our case, it's going to be about the center of the bar graph meter on the camera. And once that's done, then all you need to worry about is this thing. This is like your office then, and you know that whatever that meter's reading is the same as what's going into the camera, so to speak, or the same as what the camera meter is reading, displaying, whatever. You know, you're not going over with anything. So we've got the limiter in, we've got the low frequency roll off filters in, and we've done our lineup, and that's about it. We've got our headphones selected to output, which is what we want, on the Eng headphones here. We won't bother about the presentation headphones. You've also got a talkback control switch here, which we probably won't need to use, although some sound engineers like to use that to slate a take with the, you know, the take number and the shot number and take number. And as all that does, when it's pressed over to the right, is it connects that microphone there to the output, and so you can kind of the sound engineer can speak into that and say, you know, shot one, take one, or whatever. I'll just do it now. There you go, it's on that one. Off. And then the other position sends it, connects the talkback mic to the Q input and can send a signal down that as well. You probably use that if, you know, if you're communicating with other people on a crew or something. Oh, that's brilliant. I like it, and I'm very, very grateful to Wendy at WBS TV for giving me this, because it's as I said, it's a classic piece of equipment, and actually it's still worth quite a lot. It's still worth about £400, this thing, so it's very, very good, very, very nice, really, really, really well made, and it's British, and it was made in Berkshire, so we like that. Just a note on the headphones, by the way. Those jacks are what's known as GPO B-type, B-gauge jacks. They're not standard quarter-inch jacks. If you try to plug a standard quarter-inch jack into that, it wouldn't make wouldn't make any contact, and it could break the socket. So I'm going to make up a lead with a B-gauge on one end and a gauge on your headphone end. You don't need to worry about these here at that end. But again, if you're holding this thing, remember, if it's on mic, if it's pressed in, and you accidentally press it so that it comes out, that could actually cause some damage to the camera. So that needs to be borne in mind all the time. So there you go. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I'll just turn that down now. Okay, that's it. Fantastic. Love it. Absolutely love it. Bye.